visual and musical artist, making him a very rare species in the world of art. Hishishi Papa is inspired by the spirit of his departed former freedom fighter father, that's Gabriel Shikongo Nunyango, and his great-grandfather, Shiweda Shamlungu, who was a warrior during the Namtoni battle. This morning we have the pleasure and the honor to be joined by Hishishi Papa Shikongeni. Walalepo.
Nawa kume.
Eh,
Marakotate.
Nawa. Tango nene kaume.
Ewa kume.
Yeah. Please talk to us about your early experiences growing up and how that culminated in you pursuing the arts, both visual arts, but also music.
No, the early grows up as a child from Okahanja, grew up in Okahanja, and if people know that Okahanja is the land of music, many musicians came from Okahanja. So growing up also in Okahanja, we were always playing concerts. We used to say concerts, like Ovirishe, in those years in schools, you know, competitions at the hall. So my early age, music was within my ears, because in our house, my grandmother used to brew some traditional beer and sell some meat. So there used to be Ovambo people from the compound. So they used to come and play traditional music at home, you know, performance like on a Friday. Even Tatequera and Lexidon, they used to come and play there. So I grew up in the ear of music, and I come from a mother who was also singing in the choir, and my father was singing liberation songs, you know, one of my father's songs. So it's within the blood. It's the DNA. You know, yeah. So this is how I grew up with music.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, because of the time and what was happening in the country at that moment, your songs also reflected the struggle and the pursuit of independence and wanting to free this nation. Talk to us about that, please.
You know, music, when it comes to music, growing up with our fathers who were liberators songs, and knowing the late, the hero, the legend, to me is a warrior. Shafiishuna is a warrior. Even the name itself, Shafiishuna, you know, the birth of the man, you know. So growing up and there having those fathers singing songs. So for me, music has been with me. And when I also went to exile, joined in the plan in exile in Lubango. So for you to be encouraged, for you to be a warrior, there was music every time when we were in training. So there was a lot of songs that were even been songs when you came to the end. It was inspiring me when I was in exile. You know, Nuyome wa Namibia garenyon tumba, e makome wa Namibia garenyon tumba makoma tuyaro mepa, e no tumono njira. You know, so when those songs come and they are praising Sam Nujoma Shafiishuna, so within you, when you are a musician, and we as African people, we are the people that can having problems or during war, African people are people who can be angry in war, but they sing. You know, so that's the amazing thing of us as African people.
What does it tell us about Africans as a people, to despite the hardship, still resort to music?
Because as African people, from the birth of a child already, you know, from the way if you are harvesting, there's already music. So we are born with music. That's why all over the world, if you see who's musicians, it's African people. We have the rhythm, with the spiritual rhythm, because we come from ritual families. You know, so it shows that you cannot have anger or you cannot have freedom without a song. You cannot have celebration without a song. So music for us is something that keeps us, because music is spiritually. You know, and as African people, we are spiritual people. And it has always said that sometimes when you look at Shafiishuna, they look at him as a leader. But for me, I look at him as a spiritual being, because he went through Hosea Kutako's legs to go to exile. So as African people, we are spiritual people. We are born to be warriors, and we are born to be different from others. And that's why Nujoma was different. And that's why he himself, if he speaks later, there is a sound of music. Because also in African way, when you ask how is it so efficient for music, is that when we speak in our language, it's already a song. You know, Walalapo, it's like a song already. You see, so
there's melody.
It's a melody already. Yeah, so that's why we have to have music as African people. And music, as Bob said, if you feel bad, hit me with music. And the music can liberate you, can free you, you know, and that's how music played a role in exile. It's only that when independence comes, music is no more seen as a role of liberation.
Why is that? I was going to speak to you about how music has evolved, but I'm happy you're touching on it, that your observation is it's no longer a tool for liberation. Why is that the case?
The case is because when we come back, we try to look at academic. You see, we forget as African people, we are more skillful people, we are more gifted people. So now we have people with papers that is leading us. Sam Nujoma didn't have a paper. He was he was a selfless person, you know. So he sent people to school. So he understood that within ourselves, there is creative people. So now I think it's a time that the Namibian government must realize that it is not about paper, because we were born without paper. We were born with gifts and talents. You understand? So it is very important that they have to realize that every time, even if they do Larrys, you know, during their party elections, what do they bring in? What do they use musicians for? Bubblegum. You see? When people come from, a delegation come from other countries, go to the airport, what do they do? Cultural group, use it for bubblegum. Why is it only for that time? You see, so things must change to realize that we can't live without art. How do you dress? A nice suit, from a fashion designer. I went today to commemorate my president as a warrior because I was a soldier in Angola. You see, but it's a design from an artist. Yeah, so those are the things that we have to understand, that art plays a role. What is media? It's art. Without this video, it's artist. It's also part of art. So
to what extent did the founding president acknowledge the role of the arts in our society?
You see, already when he stand up and you hear a song, Sema Oripeni, it's already art. And I always say that politicians are artists. They just do poetry. When they speak, their speech is just art. You see, and for Tatekulu Nujoma, when we came from exile in the independence, because we are the artists from post-independence, so art was instrumental in the time of Nujoma when he was leading. You know, there was cultural festival, there was exhibitions, there were music, you know. So it depends whose leader is leading and what kind of spirit that leader have. So Sam Nujoma had that spirit, because that's why I came from the 90s as an artist today, you know, and we are different from the artists of the 20s, you know, generation. So in Nujoma, when we came back from exile, boom, music was there. People were singing.
Do you have a specific memory of him at a concert or appreciating the arts?
No, my memory of Tatekulu Shafiishuna is the first time when I was in Lubango, when he has to come in commanders. When that time there was a translator, Salem, the time of Shindondora Kemanya. Those were our commanders in Nyeko Training Center. So there was Tatekulu Peter Moshiange. So he looks the same, because Peter Moshiange, when he came, so we all thought that was Sam Nujoma, because they had the same beard, you know, white beard like me. So when Shafiishuna came, and then commanders, that was my moments that, wow, this is the giant, this is the warrior. So from there, we became fearless warrior. And one thing that he gave us that time, he said, On tondiwe okapara kaira. Your enemy is the cleanest face or a beauty face. So you must be careful. Don't just see something beauty. It might become your enemy. Yeah, and also when I met him, after independence, I met him, I visited him, also at the farm on a birthday. So I also visited him at his office when it was opposite the parliament. And we spoke, and our conversation was about herbs. He was talking about how can we bring up traditional herbs to be recognized, because I'm a herbalist. So we were speaking about to write a book about it, you see, how to come up with a herbalist book in Namibia, you see. So he was a jack of all trades, man. He was gifted. He was everything he wanted to touch. He knew the importance of nature. And the difference of Sam Nujoma to other leaders for me is that he was carrying the spirituality of his ancestors. He was carried by ancestors, and he was always having them by himself. That's why he spoke about our ancestors when he spoke Hendrik Witbooi, Maharero, Hosea Kutako. So it was a visionary man that was given a vision. You know, so to me is how I look at Tatekulu. Yeah.
Papa, as we mourn his death, yet celebrate his life and the rich legacy that he leaves for Namibia, do you have a message for your fellow artists, for your fellow Namibians during this time?
The message to the artists is that we have to gain something or learn something or inspired by Nujoma's hard working. You see, as a musician, it's time for us to start singing songs that have some knowledge and wisdom to our people, educating music, so to sing also about our history and heritage of our people within our music, because that will be the language of the next generation. So it's time for us also to see how do we change our music to educate the generation to come, not just play music because it's a sound, because music is spiritual and music is a healing. So let's start making music for healing source and the soul of healing. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Yeah.
And how will you continue to honor his legacy?
I'm already continuing to honor his legacy, because the way I work so hard in my art is the way of him that shows us that we must be hard-working people. Yeah, and in my music, there's songs that it's just that people never listen to some of my music. I've already songs that Sam Nujoma is already in my music, So, and for me, I'm just looking forward to go and make a song for him again. Yeah, Shafiishuna, the warrior. Yeah, the fearless warrior for me. Yeah, he was not a president to me. He was a father. There's a difference between a leader and the father. Because meaning leadership is not good, but parenting. So he was a parent. And that's just Africa. Africa, we nature. We don't lead. So it's the difference. If we can learn from his nurturing, not leading, that's why today we have problems. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts you would like to share with us before we let you go, Papa?
Yeah, my final thought is just to say that it is time also for the media to start knock at any artist's door. It can be studios, it can be art centers, and have conversation with them face to face, so that we can document these things, not then wait later when we are gone, and give the inspiration to them. Yeah. Like for me today, I'm very happy that no one knew that I was a soldier in exile. So, I was a messenger, recognizes. Understand? So it is good also as an artist, I become the weapon of art. So because that's how we are commanded. When you go home, we must make sure that we must go and fight for our country. So I went to the war of visual arts, because that time there were only white people doing art, paintings and that. So we are also warriors within the sector of art. Yeah, so let's continue do that, and let's continue fight for our Namibian. I always say Namibja. It's the land of God, Namibja. You see, yeah. So let's continue and do the change, and also let's unite as Namibians, as one. Can be artistic, can be politically, it can be religious, it can be tribal. Let's unite together, because we are one soul, one heart, one people. It's so bad that we live in a country that we are divided. Not only politically, even familiar. Like a family home, we are also divided in the families. So it's time for us, maybe this going away of our father, maybe it's to show us that we have now to restore love within ourselves. Let's love our neighborhood, let's love ourselves. That's the only love I think we need in our people, to love ourselves. Yeah.
Thank you, Nene Tate.
Nombili.
Yeah.
Yaro.